Hello, Freedom family. So today is Sunday in Australia and it's a really good day because we had a referendum here in Australia yesterday and the side that I was campaigning for actually won in an overwhelming majority of votes. And for those who aren't familiar with the referendum in Australia, basically the question was, do you want to recognise First Nations people in the Constitution? Okay, but that's all that the wordings was. Our First Nations people means Aboriginal, so the natives that were here before the English came. But the thing is that there was no explanation about what those wordings would be, how it would affect the Constitution, how it would affect other parts of the system or the judiciary or the parliamentarians. There was just no information at all. So I think it's 58% of Australians voted no. The state that I'm in at the moment was 70% no. And the states that have the highest percentage of First Nations people all voted no. So it's really, really interesting. And I have 2 points to make. And then I do actually have an idea moving forward on how First Nations people could potentially have a better life in Australia and how we could understand each other better. So wait for that. But I've got 2 points I want to make about the referendum going in our favour. Number one is that for those of you who don't know, every mainstream media channel, a lot of celebrities, all the radio stations, the big corporations like the mining companies, the grocery stores, the banks, they were all backing the Yes campaign. Now, in the last couple of decades, people like us are used to losing these games. We honestly are. We are used to the narratives on the mainstream totally taking over people's minds, and we're always losing these legislative battles and these types of campaigns, you know. And it's really, really interesting to see that the people of Australia are not as persuadable as you think they are. And there was no information about what this referendum would do to Australia and the Constitution. And Australia voted no to it because they were not given enough information. It makes me very proud to be Australian today. It makes me very proud to know that sometimes it feels like everyone is just in this trance of mainstream media. But actually, when it comes down to it, when it boils down to the big questions, people do not trust celebrities and mainstream media. They know that a football player is good at football. It doesn't mean he's good at politics. It doesn't mean he's good at influencing people. And what has happened here in Australia hopefully can bring hope to the rest of the world, to be honest, that you know, during COVID, you thought that we were all, you know, pushovers. We weren't. Okay, and this proves that we are not as brainwashable as you think. And this really gives me a lot of hope. And, you know, these mainstream media personalities and celebrities, they're going to be having a hard day today because they should be reflecting on what they did and the response that the Australian people had. Because I believe they truly thought they were on the right side of this campaign, and they truly are out of touch with the actual problems of Australians, which honestly is cost of living, finding good jobs and education and things like that. The problems of Australia is not the voice to Parliament referendum. So many people told our Prime Minister not to do this voice because it costed, I think, $400 million. And we're sick of seeing our money being wasted on things that we don't need, that isn't important to us. You know, Daniel Andrews wasted millions of dollars with the Commonwealth Games, and now you've got this referendum, $400 million. And the Australian people are telling politicians, you're concentrating on the wrong things. Stop trying to force us to do things we don't want to do. And can we just get to the important things like the cost of diesel, the cost of food, the cost of milk, the cost of eggs, etc. So this is really interesting. And I think that these mainstream media people, they should be reflecting today on what went wrong and why they were so out of touch with what people needed and wanted. So they're not used to losing. They haven't lost for a long time. We're the ones that are used to losing. And that's going to bring me to my second point. I honestly thought the yes vote would win only because I am so accustomed to losing. And that's interesting because I'm actually a hopeful person pretty much all the time. But I've also learned how to manage my expectations so that I don't get hurt or disappointed. So I was expecting a yes win because I didn't want to get disappointed. When the no won, I almost thought that it was fake. And this is my second point. My second point is that people like us find it really hard to accept a win when it's right in our faces. We're still kind of looking for the corruption. Like, okay, so maybe this was the plan and then they're going to do something else with the fact that it was a no or something. Let's just accept it. And I'm just telling you what I'm going through emotionally because I'm sure some of you are going through the same thing. And I'm trying to teach myself to just accept the win. Like, the Australian people just spoke, and the vote itself wasn't rigged. And, you know, like, it's great. It's great news, because I don't want to lose faith in the democracy of Australia. I don't want to lose faith in the counting system of Australia and things like that. And having just traveled overseas to different cultures, I can tell you that Australia actually has it really good, even with everything that we went through. And I'm really blessed to be Australian, and it's given me a new insight into how blessed we are. And so let's try to take the win and not look for corruption just now. Let's just like enjoy it for while we can. Moving forward, obviously there's going to be a lot of discussion now about treaties and reparations and things like that. Look, this might not be a popular opinion, but like, if you true racial equality is when you are colorblind to skin color. That is when you are truly racially inclusive. It's when you do not see skin color at all. So the point is, we should all be Australians. It doesn't matter what color your skin is or how long your generations have been here. I was born here. You were born here. We both pay taxes into the system. We're Australian. That's it. No one should have to thank anyone for the land. No one should have to appease anyone else for being the same amount of Australian as you are. For me, the government handouts for First Nations people is actually racist in itself, because you're treating them differently because of their skin color, because of their race. In fact, we need to stop treating them preciously. We need to start treating them the same as we treat everyone else. There shouldn't be on your form when you're going to university or something, there shouldn't be a box for are you Aboriginal or Torres Strait Island, because are you Australian? Full stop, end of story, okay? You should get given the same opportunities as me. I should get given the same opportunities as you. When you actually give someone free things, it's a human psyche thing. They don't work as hard to achieve the things that they want to achieve, which gives them low self-esteem, low purpose, and they potentially end up making, you know, lots of bad decisions in life. It's like a teenager. You can't give your teenager everything, or else they won't work for it. So by us actually treating them differently and giving them handouts, we're actually basically saying we're actually saying that you can't do this without us, so we're going to give you extra help. That's ridiculous. That's racist. We need to stop walking around on eggshells around First Nations people, and we need to start recognizing that we're all Australian. Bad things happened. Bad things happened in my generations too. My grandparents lived through the Second World War. My grandmother hid Jews in her attic. You know, she nearly got shot. They nearly got found out. You know, my dad had to move from Holland to Australia to escape World War II. Then they had to move from Australia to Canada to escape the Vietnam War as well. And everyone's generations have stories, and it sucks. Like, pain sucks, you know. But talking about it and bringing it up all the time, and that doesn't actually help. Like, moving forward and repairing relationships and moving through this trauma, that's what makes you a better person. That's what can get us ahead. So I think Welcome to Country needs to stop. I think the division needs to stop, and I think the government handouts need to stop. And if First Nations people want to live on the land, they should be given the space to do that. If they want to assimilate into our culture, they should be able to do that too. But that means that they can't be given special favours, because then that's not the same, is it? And that's actually racist. So I believe if Australia can look towards being colourblind for skin colour and not treating First Nations people like they need extra help, because they don't, they're just human beings like us and they can do it too, then I think we're going to be heading in the right direction. So I'll be looking out for what's next. But, you know, really interesting insights after this referendum. And I think it's going to be a very big cultural shift within the freedom movement, within the campaigning and the petitioning. I think we're going to see some things change. So because their tactics didn't work, and I think they're going to be really shocked. I think it's going to be really interesting. So anyway, guys, till next time, see ya.